Hey guys!
Hi, welcome back to Our Lives, Their Crimes podcast. We're your hosts, River.
And Hannah, and this is the segment Crimes on Our Minds, where we talk about a true crime case that we think needs talked about and that we are interested in.
Before we get into the episode, just a disclaimer, we're going to be talking about sensitive and gruesome topics. So if that's not something you're comfortable with listening to or it's just too much for you, go catch up with us on our other segment, our weekly FaceTime call.
All right, let's get into today's story.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the Menendez
River has a hard time saying this. The Menendez brothers?
Yep. Okay. So we're going to be talking about just the whole thing today. I'm really excited.
It's Lyle and Eric Menendez.
And the victims.
Kitty and Jose Menendez.
Yes. I'm really excited to talk about this. I wasn't going to because I feel like there's a lot of podcasts that talk about it or have talked about it.
It was a long time ago, so I feel like everybody has their opinions.
And I feel, so I didn't think it was going to be interesting, but then, I was reading stuff, and, when I first heard about it, I didn't get all the details.
Right.
So I just assumed that it was something that I thought was really interesting, and...
Well, and they're supposed to be getting released, right?
Yes. So...
Or they had a new trial or something?
Yes, we'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll talk about it, for sure. And I just thought, since, they might be getting out, that we should just, bring it all to the surface. 'Cause, I think... when it first happened, everyone had their opinions because they thought, and just, didn't, it just kind of, slowly got less popular because they've been in prison for so long, but now with them, resurfacing, more people are talking about it. So, Joseph Lyle, he goes by Lyle, his middle name, but his first name's Joseph, was born on January 10th in 1968, I believe, and he was born in New York. And then there's Eric, the other brother, and he was born on November 27th in, I believe, 1971. I read something, and it said he was born in 1970, but it's, for a fact that he was, born, when they killed their parents, it was 18 and 21, which was a 3-year age gap, so I tried to look, and I'm pretty sure he was born in 1971.
Okay.
Which would make them 3 years apart. They are American murderers. They killed their parents, Kitty and Jose. And we're just gonna get into...
Talk about the before, the during, and the after.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into, right now, just preparing for the murders, I guess.
Okay.
So on August 18th in 1989, Lyle and Eric decided to go buy guns. So they went and tried to, but there was a problem with, I believe, Lyle's ID and a 2-week waiting period until they could get the guns for, a background check, and for some reason they didn't want to wait 2 weeks, so they didn't buy the guns. So they tried to buy handguns and weren't allowed to, so they went and bought shotguns 2 hours away, and I think San Diego, with a stolen, I think Lyle stole his friend's ID.
Stole, or his friend let him borrow it?
Pretty sure he stole it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they went and bought
And why did they say they were
shotguns.
buying the guns?
Well, they just wanted, I don't think, no one knew they were buying the guns. The ID was stolen, so it's not like he knew that they were going to buy guns with his ID. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So nobody knew they were buying guns. They also got boxes of birdshot and ammunition.
Ammunition?
Yeah, ammunition at a Big Five sporting goods store.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 days later, on August 20th, Jose and Kitty were sitting in their were watching TV in their theater mansion, like the theater in their Beverly Hills mansion, when Lyle and Eric walked in carrying
The guns they had
the
purchased?
shotguns. Jose was shot 6 times in the back of his head, and Kitty was shot 10 times. Immediately after the killings, the brothers stayed a few minutes waiting for police to respond to the gunshots. I don't know why they stayed. I don't know what they would have said if the police did.
Right,
show
we're like,
up.
they gonna, like...
Yeah. After a little bit, they left to dispose of their clothes and later buried the shotguns.
Oh, okay, where'd they bury him?
I think it was like, I'm pretty sure they only drove like 40 minutes away. Just like,
Buried him, like, probably on the side of the road?
yeah, buried them on the side of the road. They also, so after that, they went to a movie theater and tried to buy tickets to see Batman. But they didn't use them because times on the tickets didn't add up when the
Yeah,
shootings
weren't they
happened.
trying to, like,
They were trying
get the earlier show?
Yeah, they were trying to buy tickets for a show that already happened.
So they could say they were there.
So they could say that they were there, and obviously they didn't, like, let them get the earlier tickets. So they ended up going to the Taste of LA festival for, like, an hour.
To, like, establish an alibi?
Yeah. After coming home and finding that police weren't doing anything, Lyle made a 911 call.
Beverly Hills emergency.
Yes, police.
What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
As you heard, Lyle just was like crying hysterically.
Yeah, and you can hear, like, Eric screaming in the background.
Yeah, someone killed my parents. Eric was heard screaming and crying in the background. And there was a point where Lyle was like, Eric, don't do that. And I don't know what he was like saying that to. I don't know, but
Maybe, like, Ted touches
yeah,
parents?
to touch.
I don't know.
Yeah. When officer arrived, Lyle and Eric ran from the house screaming towards the officers. So the officers did not seek gunshot residue tests from the brothers, which would have told the police immediately if they had shot a gun.
Bad police work.
Yeah. So yeah. There was an interview Eric did, and he was basically like, it is incredible that we didn't get arrested that night. Because someone had picked up the bullet casings. Because you know when you shoot a gun, like the bullet casing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone picked them up. Like, detectives didn't find bullet casings in the house.
Yeah, and if it was, like, a spree killing, why would you pick up your casings?
Why would you care to pick up the bullet casings?
So there was just a lot of evidence that police decided not to, like...
Yeah, and also, Eric had slipped up, and when investigators were, like, questioning them outside of the house, like, not even questioning them, but just asking them if they knew anything, Eric said that he saw gunpowder. Like gun smoke, not powder, gun smoke, which would have been impossible unless he shot the gun. And the detective was like, you saw it? And he was like, I mean, I don't know if it was gun smoke, but, like, we came into the house and I was just assuming that's what it was.
Oh, so he like slipped up because the gun smoke would have been gone by the time the boys got there.
But police didn't say anything about it. When Lyle was in questioning, he just told police that it could have been a mafia-related hit.
Right, because Jose was like a pretty successful businessman, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure he was in like music,
The music industry, I think so.
Yeah, like he was like a music executive. How do I say that word? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's how you say it.
Yeah. Okay. Police of like 33 years said that this was like one of the most brutal crime scenes. They had a scene. According to the autopsy, Jose was like decapitated and his face was like unrecognizable.
Oh. Yeah, because shotguns, like, they blow holes.
Yeah. Well, the first round of shots struck Kitty in her chest, right arm, left hip, and left leg. And it was said that, like, she wasn't fully dead yet. And she was, like, crawling on the floor trying to get away when Lyle left, got another round of shots, shot her in the cheek, and officially killed her. So, they started investigating mafia-related hits, since that's what Lyle gave them, which made sense because Jose was he was worth a lot and he was a very successful businessman. Everyone knew him, and it was said that not a lot of people liked him.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it could be business related.
Okay, this is where it gets a little. In months after the killings, the brothers spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on luxury items, businesses, travel, cars.
So they were just basically spending.
Yeah. So Lyle bought Chuck Spring Street Cafe, a Buffalo restaurant, 3 Rolex watches, and a sports car.
Oh, so he's truly like retail therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Spending all his money.
I think Eric also bought. I think Eric also bought a restaurant and a sports car, but the biggest thing that popped up was Eric hired a full-time tennis coach and competed in a series of overseas competitions.
Got it.
The brothers left the Beverly Hills mansion unoccupied while living somewhere else, also spending the money on a whole different place to live.
They had a lot of money.
So they were just like enjoying the freedom and their money. They probably spent $700,000.
Oh, wow.
And most of this money came from a $650,000 personal life insurance policy, which was paid out. Although a larger insurance policy for $15 million with Life Entertainment as beneficiaries. Turned to be invalid, so they didn't get the money.
So they were gonna get that
$15 million, yeah, but
it didn't go through.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just got the $650,000.
Yeah, and then they got another $50,000 from I don't know where.
Kitty, probably.
Yeah, probably. Police aren't stupid. So
yeah, I feel like this would be the biggest red flag.
Yeah, so they started to consider the brothers as a financial motive. Although, like, when family came and spoke out about it, it was said that they didn't think anything of it because the brothers were spending as normal. Like, nothing changed in their spending
like they
habits.
typically spent that much money anyway.
Yeah, which obviously police didn't know because they didn't know how the brothers spent their money until they were put, like, in front of a bunch of people because their parents had just been murdered.
Right, and I also think though, like your spending habits should change. You should not be spending that much money after your parents died. Like you should be mourning.
Yeah. And it was said, like, they had 2 funerals. Like, decked out funerals. So, a lot of money also.
Wow.
But Eric's high school friend, Craig, said and told the police that Eric had, confessed to him that they killed their parents. So police had him wear a wire, and when asked about it again, Eric denied it. So police didn't get
like live footage of him.
live
confessing?
footage of him saying it. Police also heard from a guy named Glenn, one of Lyle's friends, that 1 week after the killings, Lyle went back home and hired a computer tech to destroy something on the family computer. People think it was Jose's new will that he had been working on, leaving the brothers basically nothing.
Right, because I do remember, this is just from the TV show, the Netflix reenactment, but that Jose was going to take them both out of his will, so they would get less money.
I watched the reenactment, and there's a documentary.
Yeah, there's a documentary,
Eventually, Eric did confess to his therapist. I can't say his first name, but his last name's Oziel.
Dr. Oziel.
Yeah, Dr. Oziel. And we'll get into him later, but he's just
shady.
He's just a piece of work on his own. Oziel started recording their sessions. And it was said that Oziel had a girlfriend and a fiance, so, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, he had
Cheater.
a fiance, and he was cheating, but the girlfriend knew, so it makes her also.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, so girlfriend knew, but Oziel had the girlfriend listen in to the sessions, like, bringing her into it.
Like, she wasn't in the room, right?
No, but
she was,
like,
outside the
listened
door.
outside of it, yeah. And she came up front. They broke up, and Oziel was just recording the tapes and was, like, trying to get his way into the money, like, blackmail. Because he was, like, he wasn't going to take the tapes to the police. He was just doing it as blackmail so he could get the money, part of it.
Oh, so, like, he would record it and say, like, I'm going to put these recordings out if you don't give me...
It was never, like, confirmed that he ever did that, but girlfriend said
That was his plan.
That was his plan. Yeah. So after girlfriend and Oziel broke up, she went and told the police, and I'm not sure if they, like, went and confiscated the tapes, but I think that they just, like, I don't know if they just had enough evidence to arrest them or whatnot, but Lyle was arrested on March 8th in 1990 outside their Beverly Hills mansion. And I think, what year did they get arrested? No, I mean, what year did they die? I think it was 89, so it was a year later. Almost.
Yeah.
A year later. Outside their Beverly Hills mansion, and Eric was actually at a tennis competition in Israel, so he had to turn himself in 3 days later when he got back to LA.
Wow. I don't know if I'd ever come back. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave my brother, but, like...
Yeah, real. So, they were both held without bail at the Los Angeles County Jail.
Alrighty, are we going to trial?
We're going to trial.
Okay.
Okay, so technically, we're going to trial, but there's a little piece of information I have to give you before we get into real trial.
Okay.
Okay, so in August of 1990, Judge James ruled that the tapes of the conversation between Eric and Oziel were admissible. And
Well, unadmissible or admissible?
admissible.
So they could go in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Since Oziel claimed that Lyle threatened him and violated doctor-patient privilege. Judge James' ruling was appealed, after which the proceedings were delayed 2 years.
Oh, wow. So they sat in jail for 2 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This is not funny, but when Eric is on the stands during trial, like, they ask him where he lives, and he's like, Los Angeles County Jail.
Yeah, that's weird. Why would they ask him?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I just thought it was weird that they asked him where he lived, because he's been in jail for 2 years.
Yeah, that's weird.
Almost 3. After 2 years, the Supreme Court of California ruled that in 1992, that most tapes were admissible, with the exception of the tapes on which Eric talks about the murders, because Oziel literally just recorded everything. Like, there were tapes that just talked about, like, nothing about the murders.
Right, maybe just things that he's going through.
Yeah. Okay, in December of 1992, the brothers were charged 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances for lying in wait, which made them eligible for the death penalty.
Oh, crap. They pled not guilty due to self-defense.
Yes. Okay, the trial started in July of 1993, so they actually were in jail for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Represented by lead defense lawyers Leslie Abramson? Something like that. Defense lawyer Leslie for Eric and Jill Lansing for Lyle. So they did the same trial, but just had 2 lawyers.
Okay.
The brothers stated that they killed their parents out of fear for their lives after a lifetime of abuse at the hands of their parents, especially sexual abuse at the hands of their father.
Okay, so they're saying they did kill them,
but they were trying to get manslaughter, which is like 5 or 6 years instead of
less.
their life.
Okay.
Yes. This was said not just from the brothers, but other people, that their father, okay, so the brother said that, said a couple of these things, but then other people, described him as a cruel perfectionist and a pedophile. And their mother was described as enabling, selfish, mentally unstable, alcoholic, and drug addict who encouraged her husband's behaviors.
They sound like stand-up parents.
Literally.
A warning, if you are not comfortable with listening to
The
sexual abuse in like describing it, this might be your time to click off. I will post a timestamp
when we stop talking about it,
right.
And you can fast forward. Okay. Lyle's abuse started when he was 6, but stopped after 2 years when he was 8 without an explanation. And I'm pretty sure when Lyle stopped is when Eric's begun, which means he would have been 5 or 6.
Okay.
So around.
And it's not said. It is not what Eric said. It began around when he was 6.
Yeah. Which I thought was weird because like Lyle started when he was 6 and Eric started when he was 6, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird when Eric came around, it stopped for Lyle.
Yeah. I think maybe they were doing it at the same time though, because Eric said it started when he was 6 and Lyle started when he was 6 and ended when he was 8, which is 2 years, which would have meant if Eric's had stopped right before, Eric's had started right after Lyle stopped, he would have been 5, but he said it was around when he was 6, so there is like a crossing, because they're 3 years apart, and that's only 2.
Right, so that would be about a year that he wasn't sexually abusing anybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Yes. So, on the stand, it was, like, it was said that Lyle would have rather gotten the death penalty and would have rather been convicted of first-degree murder than talk about his abuse on the stand.
That's so hard.
Yeah. So it took Lyle a little bit of convincing, and especially Eric too, but I think Eric came forward first.
Yeah.
It was said that, like, the lawyers were just trying to, like, pull something out of them because they could tell that something was wrong. Like, there's no way two boys just kill their parents.
Well, there is a way,
I
but
mean,
if money is involved.
yeah.
But if the lawyers could feel like there's something else.
Yeah. So, like, it was said that they just, like, you know that little room you sit in with, like, a little table and then just two chairs?
Yeah, like a
questioning room, I guess.
Yeah.
It was said that they just, like, were hysterically crying and just kept going on about how great their father was until they came forward and said, like, oh no, he was actually, like,
a bad person.
Yeah. And I think
that's kind of weird.
Well, they said that they just, like, felt a need, like, after killing them, that they just, like, felt a need to, like, still have their father's approval and wanted to make him seem like a great person.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
it's sad the manipulation goes so far.
Mm-hmm. And Eric's abuse, like, Lyle stopped, but Eric's went up until adulthood, like, shortly stopping, like, right before the killings.
Oh, okay.
So Lyle,
for a long time.
Yeah, Lyle on the stands admitted to molesting Eric when he was 8.
Oh.
Yeah. Stating, I took him into the woods and played with him the same way, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's so gut-wrenching.
Eric described the abuse as including oral sex and massages, stating his father threatened to kill him if he told anyone about it.
That's sick.
On the stand, his lawyer asked him if he had ever said no, and he said yes. And the lawyer was like, and what did he do? And Eric said that Jose left the room, went and grabbed, like, a knife, and he says, like, he remembers it being, like, really big, like, I don't know, 7 inches? 8 inches, he said, and held it to his neck, and he said, I should kill you, and next time I will.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that they, like, that it was that violent.
So Eric testified that 2 weeks before the killings, when they bought them 2 days before. So 2 weeks before the killings, he first told Lyle about the sexual abuse he was experiencing, which led Lyle to get, I think it was just bringing up all the emotions because it had happened to him and he pushed it down, and they just had went through all of that. Yeah. And as a result of telling Lyle, they went and purchased the shotguns.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems like there was some sort of plan. Like, after they both kind of discovered what had happened.
It was, okay, so later on, it said that they bought shotguns because they were planning to confront them. And being told growing up that if they told anybody, they were going to be killed. They really just were like...
They, like, bought it for protection, they're saying.
Yeah, they bought them in advance because they were going to confront him and wanted to be prepared to protect themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. They said the final confrontation occurred in their homestead on August 20th, 1989, shortly before Kitty and Jose were killed. So they had, like, walked in, and Eric, it was said that Eric didn't really say anything, but Lyle was, like, pumped up and, like, went to Jose and was like, we're gonna expose you, we're gonna take all your money, you're going down, like, how dare you, we're leaving, you're never gonna see us again.
Yeah.
You'll be in prison for the rest of your lives. And it was said that Jose laughed in Lyle's face, screamed at Eric to go upstairs, and shut the den's doors. They were in the home's den at the time, which doesn't really line up because they said they were
Shot in the movie theaters.
So there had to have been
at least a little bit of time.
Yeah, it had to there. And I think when they closed the den, when they in like the testimony, they said that Jose had closed the den's doors, which was unusual because he left them open, and he went in there with Kitty. Like, they closed the doors.
Oh, okay.
And they said that they thought that they were, like, planning on how to kill them. So they went outside and loaded their shotguns.
Right, but again, there must have been a little bit of time.
So I don't know how long they were outside for, or if Kitty and Jose had moved from a different room. Like, I really...
Yeah, because they were watching TV when they were shot, right?
Mm-hmm. So... They said that they were scared that their parents were going to kill them, so they went outside, loaded their shotguns, and Eric said, quote, as I went into the room, I just started firing, end quote.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I could see, like, I don't know if the stories are lining up, like, completely, but I could see being, like, scared, especially if all your life you've been told, like, if you say anything, I'm going to kill you, and then they just said, well, we're going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like... I think I am confused about how much time went in between, like, did they go to the den first with the guns, realize they weren't there, then go to the movie theaters, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's kind of weird.
Prosecution said that story kind of doesn't make sense because they bought shotguns beforehand.
Right.
But
I do understand the protection.
Yeah. Prosecution also said that the sexual abuse was, like, fabricated and not true. Like, they were making it up.
Oh, just so that they
Yeah.
had, like, a different alternative?
Mm-hmm. The prosecution told jurors that mention of sexual abuse was absent in the tapes with Oziel, and Eric didn't confess to his friend Craig about it, so it must have not been true.
That's kind of weird. I mean, I wouldn't have trusted Dr. Oziel right away, especially as being videotaped.
I think it's brought up later, but I'm just going to bring it up now, that the only way Eric would get a therapist was if that therapist signed a contract with Jose saying that no matter what, everything Eric said was being brought back to Jose. And
that's illegal.
Yeah, which no other therapist would do because that's illegal, and Oziel did. So was his therapist growing up. So you couldn't really confide in
Dr.
your
Oziel.
doctor when. So just what's the point of being in therapy, honestly? But
yeah,
you know,
for real.
Shin said Lyle and Eric were capable of lying to such a high extent, and were capable of lying about child abuse to avoid the death penalty. Prosecution played Lyle's 911 call in front of the jurors in court, trying to show that they were capable of being good liars.
Which, the 911 call was pretty compelling.
Yeah, for sure. Before trial, Lyle offered his ex-girlfriend Jamie money to lie and say Jose had made sexual advances towards her.
Oh, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like that.
Jamie reported this to the police. Nothing much was said after that. Like, she just reported it to the police.
She probably didn't go on the stand then.
No. I don't think so. His cousin Diane testified that during his stay with the family in the 70s, Lyle had told her about the abuse. It was said that after Lyle had told her, she went to Kitty and told her what Lyle had said, and Kitty was, like, really rude to her and said that Lyle was lying, and she said that after she told Kitty, Lyle was sent upstairs to Jose, and she never heard about it again.
That's not the right way to go about it.
Lyle testified that Diane was the only person he had ever told.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yep. Another cousin, Andy, alleged that as a child, Eric told him about the abuse, which they both described as genital massages.
It's weird that they both described it that way.
Prosecution pressed Andy, asking him if he would lie for his cousin, as they did Diane, and he also denied.
Which I would deny it too if I was lying.
But, so, the defense presented 2 faceless photos of young boys from the waist down, naked, found in the home in, I can't remember what room. It was either the den or their master bedroom.
Ew.
And
it's of the boys?
well, they're saying that it is of Lyle and Eric, but there's not. It's like faceless.
It's not a face, right?
So, Lyle said that they were taken by his father when they were little, but prosecution said that there was no way to tell if they had been taken by Jose or if they were the boys. But either way, even if it's not the boys,
That's
or
still
even if they
weird.
even if he didn't take the pictures, like what?
Yeah, that's so weird to have it.
Anyways, this is a little dark, but Lyle said killing their mother, by killing their mother, they were doing her a favor and putting her out of her misery. Not that I'm saying this is right, but it was said that Kitty would leave suicide notes like almost every 2 months. Try and kill herself, never went through with it.
Oh, that's not a good environment to grow up in.
And that they had shown great honor by killing her.
I don't agree with that, but
yeah. According to Oziel, they didn't kill their parents for money, but rather out of hatred and desire to be free from their father's domination and impossible standards.
I mean, I do find it a little weird that that's like all they said, but again, I wouldn't trust that therapist either.
Yeah. Oziel said Lyle told him he knew his father would have been proud for killing him and for pulling something like that off. Meaning that that's just the kind of person Jose was. Like, he wouldn't have thought that Lyle or Eric could pull something so big off because they just couldn't do something like that, so he would be proud of them for doing something that awful.
Interesting.
Eric testified that he put cinnamon in his father's tea or coffee to make his semen taste better during when he was being molested. That is
so messed up.
Yep. And prosecution, and the plausibility of the claim was disputed because cinnamon is a detectable flavor.
Yeah, but I have cinnamon in my coffee and tea all the time. It's also like sometimes part of teas and coffees.
Yeah. Prosecution. Okay, this is really gross. Prosecution said, prompted, that Jose had not forced Eric into sexual acts, but was really mad that his son was maybe homosexual, and it may have caused tension within the family.
I'm confused. Like,
okay, so
Jose thought that Eric was gay?
Yeah, so he was Jose. It was said that Jose wasn't making Eric do anything.
Oh, that Eric was willingly doing it?
And that he was just mad because Eric was maybe gay.
What the fuck? That's absurd.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thankfully, the judge refused to allow prosecution to discuss the idea, and the defense said prosecution's idea was disgusting.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. And it was said that when like they had like gone up and said that, like Eric's like started crying because who would say that?
Yeah, that's so messed
crazy. The prosecution argued that it was relevant because one witness claimed to have seen gay porn magazines in the house.
Probably Jose's.
Yeah, implying Jose was sexually attracted to men. However, the meaning would change if they belonged to Eric.
No, it's probably just Jose's. How is an 8-year-old supposed to get gay porn
Well,
magazines?
it was said that they... I'm pretty sure it was said that when they... Well, it was a witness. So, yeah, like someone had found gay porn magazines, and prosecution said that, like, saying that, like, Jose was mad about Eric being gay was relevant because...
Maybe Jose was gay.
Yeah. Eric testified that Kitty made it seem like, quote, it was worse than death to be gay. And I don't know, end quote.
Wait, and what was that from?
It was just when he was in court, he had said that his mother...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And followed up saying that he liked girls and enjoyed his relationship with his girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. The prosecution wanted to allow the juror to see a screenplay that Eric had written with his friend Craig in high school. I think it was like his sophomore year, so like barely in high school. About a story about a wealthy young man who killed his parents for inheritance money. But the judge ruled against it, saying the play was written too long before the shootings to have relevance.
Okay, I mean, true, but also it is a little weird.
Yeah. Both verdicts, I think they, like, couldn't, like, they did it for a month. Like, they
deliberated for a month?
For a month. Maybe a little bit longer, like a month and a week. Both verdicts for the brothers were divided by gender. Female jurors suggested manslaughter, and male jurors pushed for first-degree murder. It was said,
to see that.
Yeah, so during the Netflix documentary, there were, like, some of the jurors had been, like, brought in to, like, say something on the show, and one of the women jurors were like, I think, like, the women wanted manslaughter because they were more sensitive to abuse, and the male jurors, like, didn't like the idea that a man could assault a boy.
Yeah, right. I could see that being like...
Yeah. So, after a month of trying to agree, the trial ended in a mistrial due to both sides not wanting to change their opinions.
Okay. So did they retry them?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so we did have to take a break because my phone died.
We've had to do this twice now. We're kind of still getting the hang of it, so...
Yeah, this is like a week later. We're going to finish up the Menendez case.
Yes, so can't remember exactly where I left off.
We left off at like the first trial.
Yeah, so we're done with the first trial,
yeah,
right?
We came up in a mistrial.
Yes. So second trial, I'm going to keep it real short here. Second trial, it was like a year later. I think it started in like August, the year later.
And they couldn't use as much of their abuse testimony,
yeah,
right?
so in the first trial, I think Eric testified over like, I think it was like 14, 15 days, and he only got 3 days in the second trial. They also were cut down to, I think, 63 witnesses, which if you think about for a court case, that's not a lot of witnesses, especially with how many they used in the first trial.
Right.
Because it was, like, in the first trial, I don't know if I said this, but in the first trial, prosecutors were trying to get people to come up on the stands and say something good about the parents, and nobody would. Like, defense was bringing in all these people, and they were saying terrible things about them, and prosecution couldn't find one person to say anything nice about their parents.
Wow. That speaks volumes.
So, second trial was pretty much the same. except for the little details where they couldn't talk about as much, less witnesses. And the second trial ended with the boys, I can't remember details, but they did go. They got life without possibility of parole.
They were convicted.
So they were convicted, life without parole, which means they were never getting out. They didn't get the death penalty. Can't remember why that was taken off of the table, but
Well, then the judge just might have not decided not to in
Yeah.
sentencing.
so they were convicted, life in prison. Done.
Wow.
So they were separated in jail, like 2 different jails. There was Eric. So I can't remember if it was when they were in separate jails, because they did end up getting reunited, but Lyle wrote Eric like a 10-page letter,
Mhm.
just like confessing to him about everything, and just like I don't know, just like putting himself out there and like actually being truthful with Eric for the first time. And at the end of the letter it says, "Please burn when done reading," and Eric didn't do that, and police found it, and it was like a whole thing.
Oh.
Whatever. And so they were reunited, and they went to the same jail, and they've been there for, I think it's been 35 years, 34 for 35.
Wow.
Yeah. So in May of 23, I believe, they requested to do a retrial. So a judge saw them
Well,
recent.
Sorry, didn't
Okay.
like former people that he, like a former band that he produced,
Oh,
come
yeah,
out
yeah,
and
yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
he had also abused them, so they wanted to
This kid in a band, because Jose was a executive music
Producer, right?
producer, and this band that he was like producing or whatever, this boy came out and said that he was also abused by Jose. So a judge saw went over their case, and then they got 50 to life, eligible for parole.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So I watched that girl on TikTok, his stepdaughter.
Yes.
I watch her on TikTok, and like, there's a possibility that they get out.
They still got 20 years, a little
Right.
under
since they've only
20
been
years.
in.
But like 50, they'll be pretty old when they get out, but at least they'll like die not in prison.
Right. Like, they'll get to like breathe
Yeah.
fresh air again.
So Lyle's been engaged multiple times in prison, and none of them have ever gone through to marriage. Lyle started a child abuse, I think, program in the prison for people who went through similar situations as him. Eric has a wife and a stepdaughter, and his stepdaughter is constantly promoting for him to get out. I could be wrong, but I think I remember reading that his like wife has a book.
Oh, okay.
You don't know. I think I remember reading that though. And they seem,
Well, that's good. So that they will be out.
yeah. Him and his wife seem to have a happy relationship, and they're all, doing good. So
Good.
yeah.
Okay. Opinions.
Opinions. So I'm, what's that word? Fully
Believe.
Thank you. I don't know why I forgot that word. I fully believe manslaughter was the right choice
Appropriate.
for them. I think that they should be out by now. Like, I think you can tell when someone is like truly evil, and I think they were just put in a bad situation. I don't think they're evil. I genuinely do think they care about people and they love people and, like, they have empathy. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, again, I think they were put in a bad situation and had to do something about it. Not that murder's the right choice, but,
Right.
yeah, I just think life without parole, like, is crazy.
Okay. We are going to have a little bit of, like, different opinions on this, so I don't think that they're evil. I think they were put in a bad situation. And I do fully believe that they were abused by the hands of their father and their mother. Absolutely. But I do think that money was a part of it. Like, to say that it was strictly abuse, I don't fully believe. Only because, like, their stories don't line up. Like, their dad went into the den, but then they were shot while they were watching a movie. So, and which one? Eric said that he just came in and started firing. You would think he would have just started firing into the den if he thought, like, that's where they were. Do I believe that they were abused? Absolutely. Do I think that they're going to do harm once they get out of prison? No. I fully believe that they will get out, live the rest of their life. I don't think that they're going to harm anyone anymore. I don't really know how long I, like, think that they should be in there. I think that 50 years is probably appropriate. Like, I wish that was a conviction they got from the very beginning. But yeah, I think I just wish them the best. Obviously, they made a bad decision. Like, killing your parents, even if they're evil, unless it is, like, your dad is tackling you and trying to kill you, is it appropriate to, like, kill somebody? So, we do have different opinions, but we have the same opinion, and, like, I do think that they were put in a bad situation. I just think that they could have done millions of other things before they chose that, like, went down that route. It's like Gypsy Rose.
I mean, I think this is where we disagree because, like, I'm not saying that murder was right, but, like,
you're saying they felt they had no way out.
I think that they just weren't in a place after being abused for so many years, especially Eric, where they thought they had a different way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's kind of where we kind of split a little bit. Because do I believe that? Sure. Like, do I believe that abuse can do that to you? Like, it's like Stockholm Syndrome. Like, you don't think you can run away. But because of their actions afterwards, because of their actions leading up to it, because I just, in my opinion, I'm not sure psychologically what it could do to you, but in my opinion, I think that they knew there was like a better way.
Well, when you say, like, afterwards, like, they're spending money, I think that they just didn't know what to do. I just think that it was, like, I just think they were, like, I don't know, like, I think it was, like, their coping mechanism. I think it was, like, oh, this is just, like, what we would normally do. This is just, like,
but that's, like, kind of the thing, though, too. Like, if you kill your parents because you're really, really scared, you would think that you'd be so, like, remorseful and guilty that you would, like, huddle in your house and, like...
Well, the boys talk about how, like, after they killed their father, they still wanted to, like, make him proud. And, like, I don't know. Like, they've said that.
I don't know.
So.
And also, to me, it's weird, one, that Lyle had something deleted off the computer. Right? Probably his will. So, that is also, like, you are intentionally doing something.
It might have not been the will, though. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows
so
what
else would it have been?
Maybe...
Why would he delete it? Like, have somebody intentionally delete it?
Maybe his father had something... that Lyle didn't want everyone else to find out in court. I don't know.
It's fishy to me. And also the way that Lyle was having people lie. Like, not that I think he was lying about the story at all. But if you're trying to get these people to lie about sexual advances, what else would you not lie about? That's all I'm saying. Again, I do believe the Menendez brothers should get out. I do feel for them. Like, I'm very empathetic for their situation. And, of course, I think that they should get out and live the rest of their life. But they have consequences to killing their parents no matter what the situation is. Yes, but I don't
think it should have been life or 50 years. It should have been, like, manslaughter, like 5 to 8, like even 10 years would have been fine. I just think life with, like, I mean, they were abused. Eric was abused his whole life. He got arrested when he was 18 and now he's 50. Like, Eric
didn't he get arrested when he was 19?
Well, 19. Okay, right. Because he was 18 when they killed their parents. Like, Eric didn't get to live his life. He was abused for all of his life and then he was thrown in prison. Like,
no, I'm not saying that he's like that his life has been good. I'm saying 2 people died, 2 people killed them,
and the 2
you have to go to jail.
2 people who died weren't perfect people. They did bad things.
Okay.
And the 2 people that killed their parents were like manipulated, emotionally detached, like abused, like sexually abused. They were molested, they were raped. Like,
again, I'm not saying that Kitty and Jose were perfect people. They were not. They were horrible, awful rapists, pedophile. Like, they were awful people. Okay, they did bad things. But the 2 people who were abused also did bad things. The 2 things can be true. Yes, they were abused. Yes, they killed their parents. 2 things can be true at the same time. I'm not saying
they're not true. I'm just saying they didn't deserve what they got.
Okay, I think they did.
I
don't think they deserve life, but I think
that judge
should
have resaw them and said, "Time served. You guys are free to go home."
Okay, that's your opinion. That's why it's called the opinion. It's not called fact. It's called opinion.
Okay.
You have your opinion. I have my opinion that I think 50 years is adequate punishment for shooting 2 people with shotguns and decapitating them. Like, I'm sorry. and they covered it up. They blew all their parents' money. Like, I'm sorry.
It wasn't. Anyways. You'll see this on the podcast a lot. Me and Hannah have very different opinions on some cases.
I think that River gets very emotionally connected to these people, which I do too. Like, the case that we're going to cover next week that I'm going to talk about today, I'm very emotionally invested in, and like I really dislike these people. But then I kind of counterbalance
for this case in particular, I think I've really emotionally attached myself to the situation and put myself in all of the shoes. I mean, not all of the shoes, but just their shoes, I think, in particular. And I think for this case, I think you just look at facts.
Right.
I don't think, and I don't know, I think there will be some cases, I think especially because I just told you the case, and then I sat down and wrote it, and like,
right. Well, and I've researched into the Menendez case, and I like have felt for them. Like, you're gonna see me and River are very empathetic towards people, even killers. Like, even the people that do commit these crimes, we're not. Obviously, they did bad things, but we can be empathetic,
especially
for them.
For this one and for other cases we'll talk about. I think, especially for killers, like, I think I just take it and I'm just like, imagine how they had to have been feeling to do something so terrible.
Right. Which we're not justifying their actions. And I hope that that's not what you see. Like, River is not justifying.
No, they killed their parents. And I'm not saying they should have gone to court and not gotten anything. Because they killed their parents. And they did do that. And, like, they went through with it. And they planned it out.
We don't justify violence. Yeah.
No, it wasn't okay. They shouldn't have done it. They should have found other
alternatives.
Found other alternatives, but I think that's what they felt they had to do, and that was their only option at that time. And I think they shouldn't have gotten. How long did they did? They should have been in prison. I say 10 years would have been okay. Even like 15, I think is pushing it, but it would have been like I wouldn't have been like as mad about it. And I think that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna constantly have differing opinions on it, and I think that's okay, because a lot of the times, like, people get so angry because it's like, oh, well, you don't have the same opinion as me, which means like you could say, Hannah, you don't care about people who are abused, and it's like, that's not my stance. I'm saying, like, absolutely these people were abused and that's awful, but then we have to look at like consequences to actions, and so I'm glad that we have differing opinions, and then we can kind of talk through it, stand on our opinions, but
like
at the end of the day, they're just our opinions.
Like, I stand on my opinion, and this is what I believe, but I can also hear you out and be like, okay, I can see how you see it, but
I still believe in what I
think.
believe in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah. That's
Okay.
this case. It was there was a lot to it.
It's a known case, but we wanted to talk about it
Yeah.
because they are being released soon. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yes.
Hopefully we will get to see that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we heard anything? I haven't looked into it. Have we heard anything from Lyle? Is he all good? Because when we recorded this
Lyle was rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, Lyle was rushed to the hospital.
I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, but hopefully he's doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, next week I'm going to be covering the topic, next week we are going to be covering a local case here in Reno Sparks. It's the case of Isabella Loving, the 5-year-old who was killed by her parents.
It's very
gruesome.
I feel like you were telling me about it in the car today, and I was like, it almost makes me want to cry just because of like how terrible it is.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's a lot less coverage than the Menendez brothers, but I like to I want to bring awareness to these cases because they're pretty awful.
Yeah,
it is very similar to the Gabriel Hernandez case. So join us next week. We're going to talk about that, spread some awareness, get maybe a little bit more pressure on the Sparks Reno community. That way we can see some results.
Yes. If you haven't already, go look at past episodes or our segment, our weekly FaceTime call. That segment we just talk about our week, and we have a topic every week and we talk about it, and it's just kind of like
it's a lot more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's we talk about, like, right now, we talk about the show we're watching together every week. Like, just, like, little things like that, and just, like, how we grew up and, like, what's going on in our lives right now. I think it's pretty entertaining, so.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yes.
So, yeah, go over there. It's a lot more lighthearted, kind of fun. We're trying to spread awareness about, things that girls go through on a daily basis.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Follow us on our social media.
Yeah, we have. You can listen on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, and then we also have like a YouTube account where we posted like a short. We have a TikTok, and Instagram. So go follow us on all of those.
And then, as always, our sources will be in our show notes if you want to look up what we researched about this case.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next one. Yeah. From their cases
to our crazy lives,
that's a wrap. Yay.